Hello, and welcome back to the fourth lesson of Module 1. This lesson is going to focus on corporate social responsibility. This may be a new term for you, so I'll take you through corporate social responsibility, sometimes referred to as CSR, why it is important for social enterprises, and how you can try to embed it in your small business from the beginning. As a reminder, at any stage, feel free to pause the video to take notes, rewind to hear more information again, or stop the video to complete a learning activity. Let's begin. In this module, we will cover 3 topics, each of which have been designed to guide you along the first steps of setting up your social enterprise. Firstly, I will explain to you what CSR is and why we need to discuss it at this early stage. We will then look at the concept of the triple bottom line before we discuss EESG reporting, particularly for small businesses. The first topic we will look at in this lesson is corporate social responsibility, which is often referred to as CSR. This may be a new term for you, so I will explain what it is and how you can embed it into your social enterprise. CSR refers to companies taking responsibility for their impact on society. It is a concept whereby enterprises integrate social and environmental concerns into their mainstream business operations on a voluntary basis. CSR helps a company be socially accountable to itself, its stakeholders, the environment, and the public. CSR policies can be considered as a company's commitment to improve society through its business practices. You might be wondering, why is CSR so important for a social enterprise? Because it's already good for society. While a business impact is complex, to put it simply, a social enterprise would have more of an external impact on society if it embeds CSR practices in its internal business approach. CSR maximizes your enterprise's potential for social impact. By embedding CSR policies into your social enterprise, you can fulfill your enterprise's economic and social responsibility, ensuring well-being and social welfare for staff, customers, and stakeholders. You can embed CSR into your business across these 5 pillars: environment, workplace, marketplace, governance, and environment. The community pillar relates to how businesses interact with organizations in their local community. Building trust and developing partnerships in your local communities is essential to secure long-term sustainability and support. It can also increase staff loyalty, attract new talent, while making a positive impact on society. The workplace pillar is concerned with how a business supports, engages, and motivates their employees. It creates a good working culture through diversity and inclusion, employee health and well-being, and actively works towards making the workplace a positive and safe place for all employees. Motivated and engaged employees are more productive, and people prefer to work for employers they can trust. The marketplace pillar relates to how an organization manages its relationship with its customers and suppliers. Buying and selling products or services is intrinsic to business. Ensuring this is done in an ethical and sustainable manner is key to a company's reputation and long-term viability. The governance and communication pillar relates to how businesses support, manage, and communicate their responsible and sustainable business practices within their organizations. A fundamental aspect is the involvement of stakeholders in identifying the most material areas that responsible and sustainable activities should address. The environment pillar relates to the management of a company's impact on the environment. Sound environmental strategies are essential to the sustainability of a business and can also reduce costs. Topic 2 will introduce the concept of the triple bottom line to you. The triple bottom line is important to be aware of, as it can be considered the model for running a social enterprise. This is because, similarly to a social enterprise, the focus is on impact rather than profit. The triple bottom line is a business concept that states firms should commit to measuring their social and environmental impact, in addition to their financial performance, rather than solely focusing on generating profit or the standard bottom line. The triple bottom line can be broken down into 3 P's: profit, people, and the planet. Businesses can use these categories to conceptualize their environmental responsibility and determine any negative social impacts their business may be contributing to. The concept of triple bottom line states a business cannot be sustainable unless it focuses on social variables and environmental variables in line with their economic principles. Needless to say, this is the same for social enterprises. Finally, topic 3 will look at reporting your environmental, economic, and social impact. This is often referred to as ESG reporting. The Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive arises from the European Green Deal's climate change action objectives to further enhance the disclosure by companies on climate and environmental data. This directive, which will require businesses to release reports to the government and the public. Companies in scope will be required to report. As SMEs can opt out until 2028, this will not be a requirement for social enterprises until then. However, many social enterprises already do so as part of their investment in transparency and social impact. However, it will soon become mandatory for businesses to disclose risks and impacts they may have on ESG in society. This means that companies will have to disclose not only the risks they face from a changing climate and other ESG matters, but also the impacts they themselves may have on climate and society. Companies will also have to provide information on their value chain. You may want to report on your social impact. This is usually done once a year. Here are some tips for when you get to that stage. Like all documents or materials you'll produce for external consumption, it's important to think about who your audience for the report is. The essentials of what to include are the following. First, why your organization exists and what you do. Include what the needs and problems you're trying to solve, and have you got the evidence to prove this. Second, headline figures. These are often good to include as an infographic. The purpose of this is to highlight just the key facts and figures you want to share. Third, detail of your outcomes and impacts. This should form the bulk of your report and should include outputs and outcomes, social impact, financial impact, environmental impact, and testimonials and case studies from customers. Fourth, lessons learned and areas for improvement. It's always good practice to recognise the things that haven't gone as well as you'd hoped or planned for, as well as the things that did. Fifth, next steps and plans for the future. This can be a good place to outline your intentions, goals, or objectives for the next 12 months. And finally, a basic overview of your finances. For most organisations, including a summary of your headline figures for previous years, current years, and project forecasts for next year is a useful addition to a social impact report. What's included is your income, expenditure, and operating profit or loss. Your report should then be published on your website and shared with external stakeholders. Now it's time to exercise. Using a social enterprise or entrepreneur that you know, find their most recent annual report. Read through the report and complete the following. Write down actions they have taken to improve their CSR within their social enterprise. You should aim to find 2 to 3 actions which impact the environment, the community around them, and the internal governing of the organization. Alternatively, you could use one of the success stories we shared in Lesson 3. Finally, to conclude this lesson, let's revise what we have discussed. To put simply, a social enterprise would have more of an external impact on society if it embeds CSR practices in its internal business approach. The triple bottom line is a business concept that states enterprises should commit to measuring their social environmental impact in addition to their financial performance, rather than solely focusing on generating profit or the standard bottom line. Soon, companies will be required to complete mandatory reporting on CSR. Many social enterprises already do so. Looking forward to seeing you again in the next lesson.